Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Perseverance Maremeni, also known as Madam Speaker, also known as the CEO of Self Love. If you're joining in for the first time, welcome to the family. Please hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. And if you're returning, thank you so much for the continuous love and support that you are showing me. Today, we're going to be talking about emotional and spiritual incest, where it's all fun and jokes when we always talk about bomma. I think bomma is one phrase that we use in South Africa for those who are watching from outside the country. Bumma means my mother, and the people from my province, which is Limpopo province, especially Spedi speaking people, the Spedi tribe, when they want to say my mother, they say Bumma. And we always make fun and jokes about them to say that every time when they say Bumma, they run because their mother comes first. Mother comes first. So today during the day, I actually posted a couple of videos where we're addressing the issue where women had to leave their marriages because their mothers-in-law had to make their lives very difficult. And we're talking about how when a guy says that my mother comes first, you must listen to him, because a lot of us think that when we do monkey style in bed, we're going to actually eventually capture a guy's heart and he's not gonna let his mother or his family come first. You are actually gonna come first until you are stuck in a relationship where you are maybe say 10 years later, 3 kids later, you realize that actually no matter what you do not come first. And not only are you not coming first, but also your kids don't come first, meaning that the only person that your husband or your wife in this case is able to drop everything for is people that they were born with, except their own kids, because their kids are like a product, their product, but they were not born with these kids. So during the day there was a lot of back and forth going on where people were talking about how um you know some of the people were actually negative, to say that I'm actually planting a seed where I want people to not take care of their mothers, I want people to hate their mothers and put their wives first and all that stuff. But there are other people who were actually looking at it in a sense that they were actually sharing their stories, to say, listen, I am one of those people that suffered a lot with somebody who told me from the get-go that my mother comes first, but I didn't believe him because he said it jokingly, he said it laughing. But I did realize that, after a couple of years down the line, I was suffering a lot. There was a comment that I saw where somebody was saying that my husband left me when I had a C-section because his mother needed him after that woman had a baby. And there are so many women out there who also listen to their mothers. I remember this one time I had a conversation with a lady whose mother confessed that she's not going to watch her daughter, that she worked very hard for her to have an education, be married off and work for other people. So she's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that her daughter always remains at home, meaning that if the daughter gets married or finds a relationship, she's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that this girl does not stay in a marriage. We don't know whether it's science, our people, we are good with science or what. But this person had been married 3 times and her marriages were not working out. But the mother then confessed to say that, listen, not under my watch. You're not going to have any marriage succeeding. And the one thing that I learned was that emotional incest is when I, as a mother, for example, I put my life on hold and I make sure that I take care of my kids so much that, I live for my kids. And when my kids are older, and this is the thing that I always preach about on a daily basis, to say, women, let's stay away from doing that thing of saying, I no longer live for myself, I now live for my kids. Because you become an emotional burden to your kids because you never really lived a life of your own. And after all of that comes to an end, you end up being in a position where now you expect your kids to carry you emotionally. You end up being an emotional burden to your kids, and you end up just being a burden. You have dependency issues where literally you feel like your kids must carry you because you carried them all their lives. And that usually affects their relationships with other people, because people like that who have parents or siblings or other members of the family who depend on them so much emotionally and otherwise, it becomes so difficult for them to even be in relationships, because once they try to be in a relationship, those people who are depending on that person always feels like the person who's coming in the relationship is actually, a threat to them or a threat to whatever it is that the person is bringing to the table. So basically that is what we are here about today. Yeah, man. Somebody here in the comment section is saying, I lost my sister this week due to depression caused by that. Yeah, so basically that actually does happen. And I did say during the day in one of the videos that I posted where a guy said, my mother comes first. I am my mother's husband, no matter what. I don't care who you are, but you must just know that my mother comes first. So with somebody here saying that her sister passed away due to depression because of that type of setup, In most cases, men, even in the comment section, if you can check the videos that are posted during the day, men do confess, even women sometimes, that, listen, my mother comes first. I don't care who you are or what you think you can do to me, but definitely you're never going to confess to me. And after you have spent so many years trying your level best to make sure that you replace that mother, and without you realizing that this is actually a psychological thing, it's not even a thing of, sometimes it is witchcraft maybe, but in most cases it's a psychological thing where a mother plants these seeds in their children that, you know what, I am putting in the work to make sure that you are well off so that tomorrow you can come and take care of me and take care of my family. And also emotional blackmail plays a role a lot, because I don't believe that somebody who is in their normal state of mind, who claims to love somebody, can actually, distance themselves from the person that they love because their mother and their sisters and whatnot comes first. In fact, it should not even be a matter of people competing with one another, because once you have offsprings of your own, and this is a problem with a lot of black families, because a mother always feels like they're entitled, and a father always feels like they're entitled to their kids' things. Even when the kids have passed away, they feel like they are more entitled than the kids of that child of theirs. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making sense. So much that you find that the kids of a man who passes away, they suffer because the parents of that man who passed away feel like these things belong to them, because this person would not be where they were if it was not because of them as parents. Only black people believe that if you have many children, you are rich, because those children are going to take care of you, meaning that when you have more children, then you are more likely to be well taken care of. You are more likely to live a luxurious and comfortable life when your kids are older. But if you check the luxurious life that people are anticipating to live after they have done such a great job of raising their kids, that life does not really align with somebody who's about to be married and have a family of their own. Because literally, when you think that you're going to have a luxurious life after you have given birth to a child, and that child is going to work and work for you, then you are dismissing the fact that this child needs to start a family of their own. And once this child, because love, finds people all the time, if they now move and find a family of their own, you are bound to fight with the wife, you are bound to fight with the kids, simply because you feel like this person is, these people that are in the life of your child are now disturbing that thing that you had in mind, because you had a vision of your own, you had a mind of your own, and you were thinking that, you know what, my kid is going to do all these things for me, but when they don't, then you're going to fight with anybody who stands in your way. Yes, exactly, that is what we're talking about today. TP, we're talking about emotional incest, and in some cases it's not only emotional, but it's also spiritual, yeah. So basically that is what we're talking about today. And all the people who had, I believe all the people who had called, requested earlier on, are now gone because they were only there to help me out. But if you would like to join in the conversation via you being a guest, and that we engage on your own experiences regarding all of that, you are more than welcome to do that. During the day, as I was going through the comment sections, I saw a woman who was saying that she left after so many years with 3 kids, because even her 3 kids don't come before the parents and the siblings of her ex-husband, And also there was somebody who was saying that she was a daughter now. She was speaking on, like, it was between a daughter and a father, where she had an appointment with her father that they were supposed to meet up. And then the father now said that they're going to have to cancel the appointment because his mother called. His mother needs him, So she was disappointed as the daughter that, I need you as a father, but you are saying that your mother needs you, meaning that your mother comes before me, which is her grandmother in this case. And she was saying, I can only imagine how the people who are involved romantically in the life of my father are feeling right now, because if even I don't come first between me and my grandmother, then that means that even the person that my father is dating can never even come first. So these are the realities of things that in a lot of cases, like I said, we always joke around it, and we especially us people who are coming from up north, from Limpopo, where we always say, come Good Friday, come long weekend, come this, come that. We're always talking about boom ma, Once a petty man says boom ma, you must just know it is finished. Boom ma comes first. Boom ma, what boom ma says goes. Boom ma calls the shot, Boom ma means my mother. So the one thing that we don't really take into consideration is the fact that this whole thing is actually a psychological thing, like I said, and also very spiritual. And because we never look at it in that angle or in that area, in that view, we will always dismiss it, you know. Yeah, Dieta is saying that yo go fedile, gore o ka se dire selo, meaning that it is finished, you cannot do anything, you know. There's another comment which is coming through here. Somebody says, I hope we become the less entitled generation of parents. They owe us nothing, we owe them everything. Yeah, I believe that, you know, I strongly believe that we're a generation of parents that are going to stand in the gap and make sure that as we are healing from things that we dealt with as children, we are also going to make sure that our kids never suffer the same things that we have suffered. Although there's going to be a few potatoes here and there which are rotten, a few bad ones here and there, but I believe videos and engagements such as this are going to make a difference, a huge difference in our community. And those who are not, because a lot of, honestly speaking, guys, a lot of people are not even aware that there is actually a term, you know, that defines what they're actually doing with their parents, you know, because being emotionally needy towards your kids, it's not even a sexual thing. Yes, from time to time you'll find parents who are, you know, that disturbed to a point where they want to have, you know, sexual intercourse with their kids, but in most cases this syndrome is literally just on the emotional side. And as people of color dealing with emotional things, well, it's the last thing that we want to do, you know. So as we are learning on a daily basis and we are teaching one another, I think it is safe for us to say that our kids will never have to suffer from the same things that we are suffering from, because we are doing the work. I literally feel like we are the only generation that is doing the groundwork, that is paving the way to make sure that our kids never have to suffer the way that we are suffering. I think Madame is saying that we owe our kids everything, they owe us nothing. Absolutely, you know, because our fathers and our grandfathers had it the other way around. Like I'm saying, that's why one would want to have 10 kids. And when you look at somebody who has 10 kids and somebody who has 2 kids, you would think that the person who has 2 kids is actually, you know, is lazy to give birth, and the person who has 10 kids is rich, you know, because all these kids are going to take care of them, meaning that if all 10 of them become successful, then you will have 10 people taking care of you. And it's not even supposed to be that way. Parents are not even supposed to be taken care of by their kids. But I know that we always blame the apartheid era, of which we should, rightfully so, blame the apartheid era to say we are less advantaged because of what the system did to us. But now it has become an excuse for us where we really just want our kids to do everything for us, because of that mentality that you must give birth to as many kids as possible so that those kids must take care of you. You are rich when you have a lot of kids. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, man, basically that is the long and the short of it. Yeah, that's how they were raised. I know I always quote Ialna when she says that she learned from her own relationship with her father before her father, after actually she learned after her father passed away, that in as much as you may think that what your parents gave you is garbage, they gave you the best garbage that they could find at that time. Meaning that there is no parent, even the Bible says that would a parent give their child a snake? You would not give your child a snake if you didn't think that snake was food. So meaning that even if you are giving them snake at that time, that is the best snake that you can find to give them, and that is what you think will keep them alive. So it is a matter of parents just transferring what they know that this is the best way to treat our kids, but the onus is on us, you know, because we are a well-informed generation, we are a learned generation, we're a generation that asks questions, and we want to find solutions, and we want to make sure that we break these chains. So at the end of the day, even though we are discovering all these things every day, it's not easy, you know, guys, because these are things which are subconscious. We learn these things subconsciously, they were transferred to us, so we literally have a lot of work to do for us to take it all the way back. But we're doing it one day at a time, you know, and eventually we'll get it right. I actually don't have, okay, there's a comment here. It's going so fast. I don't have a problem with hubby putting his mom first, because my mom would come first too. Yeah, so in this case, ne, Mabatu, because remember, yeah, that's Mabatu. Remember this thing of emotional incest, it's not only one directional, you know, it's not only men who put their mothers first and it's a syndrome. This syndrome is affecting both genders, you know. Like I said in the beginning, I don't know, maybe you came in a little bit late. Like I said in the beginning, that there are women, mothers, who feel like their daughters must never get married because they put their daughters through school and their daughters must take care of them. So that is emotional incest syndrome, where people literally want to depend on you, whether it's emotional, whether it is, you know, financial, simply because they feel like they own you to a certain degree. So you could be the one that basically the point that I'm trying to make here is that when as a woman, you are not immune to having emotional incest syndrome or being a victim of emotional incest syndrome, codependency issues, so much that you feel like it's okay. So in most cases, yes, it does happen to boy children, but you as a girl child as well, you are, you know, you are not immune to being that type of a person, you know. So you being able to be okay with it and saying, you know what, this is a thing that I'm willing to do, it does not necessarily mean that it's okay. And for as long as it's not hurting anybody, it's not hurting you, then it's fine, you can do it. But remember, in most cases, this is the reason why relationships come to an end. So many people end up breaking up because it's usually the women who complain about these things, you know, because usually it's boy children who suffer from this thing of emotional incest syndrome, you know, where their mothers literally feel like, you know what, you must be the husband that I never had. So even you as a girl child, you know, you can have that. And your husband might be the one that's always complaining that your mother is always in their business, because there are mothers who are always in the business of their girl children's marriages and all that stuff. So this thing is not even it's not depending on, it's not only a one gender type of thing. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to read comments here, but my side is really bad, guys. So those who are really commenting and have a lot to share regarding the topic, if you could just suggest, if you could just request to be a guest, that would be awesome. You would save my, you know, you would save me from reading all the comments. Just reminded me after the pastor said, leave and cleave, 8 years into my marriage, my now ex said, oh my gosh, yo. You see now this reading of comments thing, they're going fast and my sight is bad. He said he would choose his mom over you, and that was the breaking point. You see, that is exactly what I'm saying, to say. And in most cases, these people do say this in the beginning, to say, they warn you, like a video that I posted during the day. They warn you in the beginning that, listen, my mother comes first, you know. And a lot of people do this because they're not even aware that they're suffering from emotional incest syndrome and codependency issues. You know, they think it's a normal thing to do because they've been taught that that's a normal thing to do. But videos such as these are actually the ones that give that, you know, awareness to say, actually, if you think about it, if you sit down and think about it, it's actually not as normal as you think it is, you know. And then when you want to do now the background work of, you know, drawing boundaries and all that stuff, then you will get to realize that, oh, actually, this is a thing that I need to let go of. You know, it's not always a pleasant thing, because sometimes it really does hurt, and you become stagnant as a child. You end up not being able to keep, you know, a relationship, because people that are depending on you emotionally and, you know, financially and otherwise, they will always feel like anybody who comes in your life is there to take their place and is there to actually, you know, take from what they are gaining. And obviously, you know, once you get married, you have kids, you have a family of your own, people that have been depending on you can't be getting the same thing that you were getting, because honestly speaking, a relationship or a marriage does not come with a special, you know, what do you call this, allowance from anywhere. There's no special allowance. You still have to depend on the two salaries that you were depending on before you got married. Now you have a family of your own that you need to start with that salary. Obviously, people are not going to be happy about that. People that have been depending on you are not going to be happy about that. Mukanye said, sad thing is his mom chose another man after she I don't understand what that means. After she raised them and did her part, she chose another man to be what? To be her partner. I think the stories are now not adding up. Wow, I just made me realize the kind of marriage I'm in. Oh, okay. So basically, that is the long and the short of it, guys, to say all the comments that we've been reading throughout the day regarding the whole issue of, you know, regarding the whole issue of Bomma, the famous thingy Bomma. Somebody is saying, Mukonya, please request, because your story is really interesting, but it's cutting into parts, so it's very difficult for me to actually add it up together to even make sense out of it, because I'm trying to speak at the same time and I'm trying to read what you are saying. So if you would request to just share a little bit with us, that would be awesome. Would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And how long we are? 19 minutes in. So yeah, basically that is the long and the short of it, guys. To say there's one thing that a lot of us are not aware of, as I was saying, that this thing of boomma, it's all fun and games until a marriage has to be broken apart simply because, you know, people are not willing to compromise their relationship and their codependency syndromes and their, you know, incest syndromes with their parents, their mothers, their daughter, their siblings, you know. And it's quite weird because you would think that a parent would always want what is best for their children, right? Of which they would want what is best for their children until it gets to a point where what is best is not favoring them anymore. Then that means that literally your child will never sustain a relationship, you know. The fact that Bumma got the final say in our marriage is painful. Yeah, the reason why Bumma has the final say is because that partner of yours is suffering from emotional incest syndrome, and in most cases people don't even know that they're suffering from these things. And it's quite sad because literally somebody will watch their own marriage crumbling and falling apart simply because they don't understand, or why are you not understanding that my mother comes first? It doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to be that way, you know. And people want women who are going to understand that thing, even though it's not supposed to be that way. And the unfair part, especially towards us who cry about these type of relationships, is that these people do communicate in the beginning that, listen, I'm suffering from incest syndrome and you must take me like that. My mother comes first because my mother emotionally depends on me, financially depends on me, and nobody's gonna come before my mother. So you need to understand that. And a lot of us get in there with our eyes closed and we think to ourselves, no, you know what, eventually we'll get it right. Eventually this person will understand that there's no way his mother can come first. You know, at some point I have to come first. I will make you see reason. I will shake you. I will do monkey style. I will jump from here and there. I will cook for you, clean for you, do everything for you. Then you will understand, you know. So yeah, man, that is that. I see a comment here. My sister-in-law is causing the serious problem. If you can, please just request to be a guest instead of you co-hosting. Thank you very much. I see the request is coming in. I had to decline that one. I missed that one, guys. I missed it. Yo, guys, I hope you guys can see each other's comments because as for me, I'm so far away and my side is bad and I can't keep up with the comments. Yeah, so once Buma has the final say, guys, it's a lot of people who suffer from this thing, you know. It's just that they never talk about it, or we don't see the seriousness of it, or we make a joke about it in most cases, you know. So we may think that it's something small, you know, and it's not. Because if you watch the videos that I posted today during the day, you will understand how many relationships and marriages had to come to an end because Buma contributed, because Buma does not like this woman, because Buma is always fighting with this woman, you know. And it's all fun and games. You Good Friday, you wanna Buma bari, you know, Buma ba shota gate. It's all fun and games until you realize, or you can't even keep like somebody that you love so much, you love with all of your heart, you guys are compatible, you are everything to one another, but the relationship can never work because somebody is suffering from emotional incest syndrome and they don't even aware. All they think is that, you know, it's a noble thing to do for them to be their slaves, to be their mother's slaves, to be their sister's slaves, you know. Story of my life. Well, whew, it's a story of a lot of us, you know. It's a story of a lot of people's lives, you know, exactly what's happening between Kwaito and Mantuli. Oh, somebody did say that in the comment section, that that is actually what is happening on Skim Sam. Guys, I'm so left behind because I don't really watch TV much, but maybe I should watch that so that I can, for context, you know. Talking from experience, Kanyala Munna wa Bumma. Yeah, somebody says from experience, never ever get married to a man who is a boomer, meaning a man who has emotional incest syndrome, right? A boomer love his first kids and my kids are nothing. Okay, so this person actually loves his other kids and his mother, and he doesn't love your kids. How's that waking out? You know, how is that? Excuse me. Hi, Sissy. Hi, Blossom.
Hi, Sissy.
How are you doing? Your volume is on 100. I like it for you. I love you already.
I love you. Ndimufuna ngamanda, my home girl.
Ndoliwa, thank you so much, my love.
And then ukodalini venda.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. No, I will make.
I love you. I need you.
Thank you so much.
Spiritually, physically.
Thank you so much, my love. I will make a plan to come back home. Home is where the heart is.
I need you.
Okay, I think for this live specifically, my love, because it's not about that, I'm going to have to let go of you. Maybe we can speak on the dress and all the other things separately, but for this live specifically, I was hoping that the people who can call in would be the ones that are not going to deviate from the topic at hand, which is emotional incest syndrome. I literally don't want it to be like, you know, a conversation between me and one person talking about other things which are not related to the topic. So I do apologize to Blossom for having to cut her off like that. But yeah, it's going to make us deviate from the topic at hand. But we are still on the incest, on the emotional incest syndrome, where we're talking about suffering from the Bumma syndrome. That's what Bumma is actually, which is something that a lot of us people suffer from because we are married or we're in relationships with people that make it clear that we can never come first, our kids can never come first. In the beginning, we see it as a joke, we treat it as a joke until it gets to a point where you have kids and you start a family with this person and you realize that their mother calls the shots, their father calls the shots, and they're literally running your house. You're not running your own house. And in most cases, parents become that entitled because when they had you, they put their lives on hold and believe that they're going to raise you in a certain manner, so much that when you grow up, eventually it's going to pay off for them, because it's literally like an investment that you are going to now work for them, and everything that they've always wanted to do for themselves, you are now going to do all of that for them because they couldn't do it for themselves because they had to put their lives on hold. So basically, that is what the topic is about today, and I'm hoping that anybody who requests to join in the live is going to be speaking on that topic, and we can leave other things aside. I humbly request that we stick to the topic at hand. Hi, Mamija.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, my love?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yes, when I just met your life now, and it actually reminded me of something that is that is still happening in my family actually. And for me, I also have like a sister-in-law, basically. Yeah. So this lady, she's married to my brother. And what my dad did, something that I did not understand then, but I understand now because I'm grown. My dad made sure that my brother does not give us money, regardless of how much I lack. And I remember one time when I confronted my dad about it, I was like, I'm in Gauteng. I need money sometimes. My brother should help out. And he's like, I'm still alive. Yeah. Your dad is not, your brother is not obligated to give you money. Because I just felt like I grew up with that thing that my brother needs to take care of me. So if a lady comes and she's married to my brother, then she needs to understand that my brother needs to give us money. Yeah. That's the mentality that I used to carry with me, because I used to see it in my family. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. But I didn't understand then when my father was trying to break that whole thing of Wanabo mind, all those kind of things. Because he even banned my brother. I know it was kind of wrong, but my brother didn't understand. He banned him from calling my mother mama, because like he was also like a mama's boy in a sense, to an extent whereby I think it almost costed him like most of his relationships.
Mm.
But now, because we are relearning that, when I saw this, I just remembered that I almost became a mother to my brother in a sense.
Mm.
And I am, it's like, I don't know, like, and I find it kamo culture yarna mapedi, man. And why we always talk about it, or like, I guess what why rila mara lena ki in a situation whereby I almost fell in that cycle. Or like, I want to get married, but why do I have to block my brother from his own happiness?
Yeah.
For my own selfish reasons. Because honestly, the money in Nigeria, it wasn't really for anything useful. But it was just
you felt entitled, you know.
To kill and destroy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, like I just wanted to share that because
you know
like,
what, my love?
I
really
it's
appreciate
a behavior that I'm still learning from.
I really appreciate you being very honest, you know, in this regard, because I believe that we are all learning to unlearn. Like I said earlier on, that we're a generation that's going to make a change, that's going to make a difference. As we are doing lives like this and we are having engagements like this, we're having conferences like this, where we are teaching each other and we are unlearning all the things that we didn't even know that they were like syndromes, you know, there were psychological things that we need to get rid of. So the fact that we are able to gather like this and we're able to share with one another, and you are able to say, listen, I was also one of those people, it's beautiful. I love it for us. I love it for our generation, and we're going to learn and we're going to become a better generation. So I am so glad and happy for you that you are in this live, okay? And thank you so much for sharing your story with us. There's somebody who was saying here in the comment section that I hope this live is being recorded. Yes, we are live simultaneously on TikTok and on YouTube. So after the end of this live, you're more than welcome to go watch the whole thing all over again. We have now Precious. Hi, Precious. Are Precious? Okay, we're going to move to Mukanye.
Hi, Perseverance.
Oh, okay, hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, honey.
Oh, my net. Okay. Well, my story is actually related to what you are talking about today. I was raised by a single mother, ne?
We can hear you, mommy.
As her only daughter, even though I had two brothers. So she raised us in a way that I understand, you know, she never introduced any man into our lives up to this age. Now, she took me to school and all that. Now, the reality is kicking in. I cannot do anything for myself. Even when it comes to relationships, she has to approve my relationship. So if she doesn't like the person, then it's a no. I remember when I had my first child, and my baby daddy was like, I wanna come home, I wanna come lobola and all that. And she was like, no, that's not happening. That's not happening. I raised you so that you can take care of me.
Wow.
And that's what you must do.
Wow.
So right now, I know even when I work that whatever I'm doing, I have to be sending her back whatever, whether it's money, you know, she wants me to fix her house. She wants me to do everything for her. Mind you, I have brothers. I have two brothers.
Wow.
But she doesn't expect anything from them. But from me, every little cent that I have. So, like, I was that person who would always say my mom comes first.
Yeah.
My mom comes first.
Yeah.
But now I can see that it's no longer like that because she's demanding too much.
It never gets better. It actually gets worse by the day. So a lot of people who think...
It's actually getting worse because when I look at it, like I sometimes think I'm going through a depression, even though I don't know the signs that depressions, but that's how I take it because I feel like it's too much because I mean I'm over 30. I should be starting to build my life, you know, a home for my kids, having a stable relationship, if I can say, but with her in my life still existing, I know that that's not going to happen. And then what happens when she passed on? And then my brother marries. And then I'm going to be that makadzi odzurawo mudini. You know,
and you are probably going to do the same thing to your kids as well, you know, to say, I live for my mother, you must live for me.
Exactly. Because now I feel like since I'm going, to my opinion, that means I'm going to be a single parent like her. So that means I'm gonna be expecting the same thing from my daughters. Yeah. The way she is. Yeah. Because she even has this say, Uri, I took you to school, I paid over 100,000, so you owe me that money. Yeah. Yes, you took me to school. I wasn't lucky enough to get that job. Yeah. Till today. So I know that I still owe her 100,000+ that she took me to school with. In which I don't even know where I'm going to get it. But in my head, I know I have to pay that 100,000. Oh. Maybe she'll let me go. Even if you do pay that 100,000, Nami, it's not gonna happen. She's not gonna be able to let you go, because then you are gonna be feeding into her. It's a void, you know. There's a lot going on her side. There's a lot of healing. There's a lot of traumas that happened that instead of her getting her healing from it, that is why this thing has a name. And I feel like what you're explaining to us right now is the worst case of this, you know, incest syndrome, and it needs to be dealt with. And I'm glad that you are here today, you know, because you being here at least makes you aware, you know, that okay, this thing is actually a condition, and it needs to be dealt with, and it needs to start with you, because you're the one who's been feeding into this thing. In as much as you're already exhausted, at least now you know when you leave this life that actually there's something that I need to work on, even if it's going to be a long-term thing for you to work on. But at least you know that from here going forward, I need to work on releasing myself and just liberating myself from this syndrome that is happening with her, because definitely she is not her normal self, you know. And it's the reality of a lot of people, you know. And as much as people don't talk about these things, because, you know, we always shame one another as black people to say, you know, black taxi, you can't call taking care of your parents black taxi, until parents become so entitled that when they give birth to you, they feel like you are their project, you know, you are their little chidudwani, that you must work for them for the rest of your life because they gave back to you, so you owe them everything, you know. And I feel like sometimes we can help people who are victims of that, but sometimes what you can do for yourself is to draw a boundary, you know, where you feel like, you know what, instead of me having to make this person see reason, because I'm telling you, it will get worse by the day, it will never get better. If you think that this is the worst where she wants her money back, she's still going to feel like you owe her even after you are done. So literally, you're going to have to now start putting in the work just on yourself to protect yourself and to draw boundaries, you know. Like you literally have to just work on you protecting yourself and shielding yourself, even though you're still going to be able to love her. You're going to have to love her in a way that is not painful for you, you know. In as much as it's going to take a lot of resistance, it's going to take a lot of clashing, it's going to take a lot of pain, because you having to watch her go through certain things because you can't do the things that you used to do for her anymore. It's going to be painful to watch, but I need you to understand that if you look at the whole thing to see, Uri, you being able to be realistic right now and say, okay, I see, Uri, this is where it's going to end. This is where my life is going. At the end of the day, you know that, okay, the end goal is to make sure that you never have to suffer the way she suffered. You never have to be like her at the end of the day. So that should always be your inspiration to say, listen, I'm going to work very hard to make sure that I never have to suffer the way my mother is suffering, and I never have to suffer through her, and my kids never have to suffer. So it's a lengthy process. It's a process that you're going to have to go through, being very patient with yourself. Mara, trust me, with videos like this, with live sessions like this, where you engage openly, there's no way you can't do it. There's no way you can't come right. How do I even draw a boundary when I am her breadwinner, you know? I understand she depends on me. She's not working, so everything, she's depending on me. Yeah. But I feel like she's asking for too much, you know. Yeah. Like she should be appreciating whatever that I'm giving her, because that's what I am able to afford. You should be able to learn how to say no. You know, you should be able to learn how to say no. I think that's where it starts. Some of the things where you feel like she does not need,
or you are unable to provide, you just say no. You just say, this one, unfortunately, I will not be able to do it. And I know that it's going to be painful, but bit by bit, you make her get used to the fact that she's not a spoiled brat to you. You can actually say no, and bit by bit, you will be liberating yourself, per se, if I were to put it that way.
And no to her, that means she's not going to be talking to you for a week or 2 weeks, because she'll be angry until you do whatever she asked for.
Yeah, I think, usually when people do like this, what you do to them is that you make them aware that I know that you are going to be angry at me. It makes it very difficult, and I'm telling, trust me, it always works. When you say to me, Perseverance, because every time when I talk to you about this one, you are always angry. I know you are about to get angry, and it's fine, you can get angry, but here is what's going to happen. You make it very difficult for me to be angry for the same thing, because literally what I'm saying to you is that I already know your tactics, and they're not gonna work, and they're not gonna stop me from doing what I'm saying I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Because I know if she's asking something and then I say no, she's going to be angry. Like, I know that's her thing. So
yeah, so just make sure every time.
That's my story, your lives, they really help. I do watch your lives. Actually, Zote, even last Thursday, I was here, and I always ask myself, when is she gonna touch this part? Yeah, because I have a lot to say about it.
Yeah. Oh man, I believe in God's timing, and thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for always being in my lives and sharing with us. Thank you so much, my love. I really appreciate you. Okay, I think we have a little bit of a time delay there. Precious has a little bit of a problem with her network, but I do believe that we are now sorted. Mukanye?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, my love?
I'm good. Just to give a background story, I should have seen the red flags from the beginning of the relationship, especially when I was pregnant with our first child. The mother would not even look at me, even when my uncles took, the traditional, damages and on whatever. And it was just him and his mother. She didn't call anybody. She didn't tell the whole family until I was at least 7 months pregnant. And the red flag was there. And I was hoping that his son's love would have been enough for us to make things work, but I still ignored it. We eventually got married. After the marriage, things started going haywire. Everything was about his mother this, his mother that. Mind you, I was the one who was working. He was not even employed. My family was the one who was trying to help him get a job and just to get him by. But his mother was still there. One time when I found out he was cheating and I had my second born and she was 2 months old, took her to and found pictures in my car of this girl and him. And we went to his mother's house. His mother just made as if, you know what, I'm being ridiculous. I'm overreacting. I should have just ignored it. So once again, I still ignored the red flags. But I think the biggest one was when I had decided to take my daughter, my last born, to creche. His sister and my daughter were being taken care of by the same woman. So I felt like it was time for her to learn other things. It was time for her to grow. And he beat me up because I did not get permission from his sister to take my daughter to creche.
What?
Yeah. And it was a physical fight. Fortunately, my uncle taught me to fight for myself. So even though, yes, he was bigger than me, I still managed to get a punch or two in there. So after that, I still stayed. I think my parents didn't know any of this until I went to hospital for depression. And my dad did not understand what was happening. My parents were like, what's happening? We thought you were fine. And my eldest daughter, who's got so much anger right now because she saw all of this happening. And then eventually, I think in 2019, and when his cheating started escalating, and I'm like, okay, I'm not the type to call a woman to say, hey, leave my man alone. I always, if a woman calls me, I'll be like, no, come take him. He's a baggage to me. Come. As a matter of fact, you'll be relieving me of it. So the mother eventually said to me, you know what, do what you have to do. And then one time when we were having an argument, he said to me, I would choose my mother over you anytime. And I was like to myself, if that's not hint enough, I don't know what is, girl.
Yeah.
Like, really.
Yeah.
And because I was determined to make it work for my kids, I still stuck around for all that. And it took me a good 9 months. And the day I decided to walk away from all of this, I moved as if I was going to a corner and I was coming back. And my kid, I always speak to my daughters because I only have girls. And I was like, girls, this is what we're going to do. Are you guys happy? And they were like, my eldest one was like, Ma, let's go. It's not healthy here. We're not okay. Let's go. And we did not know where we were starting. And this was the first time my parents heard of everything that had been happening. And my parents were broken. My grandmother, who loved him so much and thought, worshipped the ground that he walked on, could not believe it. The first time the mother called me after I walked out and I left, she said to me, and I had just moved into my apartment, she said, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, I've been coming to you. I've been coming to you as Matswale Waka to speak to you. I've been asking for your help, but you have not been there for me. So this is time for me to walk away. And I think before I finally filed for divorce, she still had the audacity when he was still a part of the kids' life. She still had the audacity to say to me, oh, you love him too much, you'll come back. And I was like, okay. That's when I realized this family, the whole of them are toxic. I cannot expose my kids to this. And I tried to at least maintain that relationship so that the grandmother can be a part of the kids, so that he can be a part of the kids. But eventually he decided to cut them off. He does not support them financially. He has not seen them in years. And he called again. He calls once a term. I always laugh about this. He does not even know which high school my firstborn is in. He calls to ask how are they doing in school. The very same school that he's not paying for, the very same school. And I'm like, shouldn't you be asking your mom at least, because apparently I had blocked them, and I don't block people on anything. I just delete your numbers and I move on. I prefer my peace more than anything. Yeah, so yeah, it's been one heck of a ride, but I think my parents and my brother were the greatest supporters to get me through this. But I think I should have seen the signs. His mom, when I said his mom chose somebody else over him, literally after he said that, the mom moved in with a guy that she's been seeing on the side. So that's what I mean. I'm like, and now he's all alone, man. He's got nobody, and his sisters are now married, and he's got nobody. He does not know what to do with himself. So yeah, it's just one of those things that I'm actually grateful that I walked out. The sad thing is that my eldest daughter had to go through that to an extent that she wants nothing to do with men. And I had to take her through psychologists and just to help her and understand. Even now, I try to have as many open conversations, but she's like, I'm bi. Because I'm like, okay, you're still too young to be trying to figure out your sexuality, but know that you've got me, you've got your grandmother. Well, your other grandmother was there, but she decided to cut you off, but it's fine. I'm here and I'll do my best, and I'm doing it on my own, and I'm happy. And my kids are happy. They may not get everything they want, but at least we are in a safe space. They don't have to watch their mom being beaten up for their aunt. They don't have to be traumatized. Fortunately, the younger one can barely remember anything. But yeah, basically that is my story of Matswale, who hated me while I was still in a relationship, but I refused to see it. And one of the fondest memories was at our wedding, and she didn't want to speak, and she spoke as if, oh my word, she was tortured. You know, when somebody's speaking because
they're forced because everybody's looking at them and like they're expecting you to do it.
Yeah, and then my sister-in-law's wedding, which was shown on Our Perfect Wedding, it was one of the most beautiful weddings there, and she was all over the floor because obviously now she's got the son-in-law she wanted. Now they can spend the money that they wanted. And I'm thinking, if this woman will never want me. I will never be good enough for her. To to find out that she even was hoping that my second born was not her son's child. Unfortunately, both my kids look like them. So I'm like, so you're saying that I'm doing things that your son is doing behind my back, but it's fine. Anyway, that is my story. But I've grown out of it. I laugh about it now. The sad thing that I still feel irritated with myself about is that I spent so many years crying over this guy. That is one thing that still bugs me even today, that I was laughing at myself. I'm like, oh my word, you cried over this guy for so many years. Now it doesn't matter what happens, I don't have any tears for anything. So yeah, that is my story. And when I divorced him, he was shocked because he didn't think I would ever do it.
They always shock this man. I don't know why. They always think that we're never gonna do it until we do it. This is one thing that I learned from my therapist when I was filled with a lot of regrets. I think the first stages of when I was getting divorced, she said to me that perseverance, whatever it is that you did, even the years that you spent trying to build, trying to do this and that and crying and that, at that time when you did that, you thought you were doing what was best. So you must never ever regret, because if by then when you were doing those things, if you knew that you would be here today, you would not have done it. So the fact that you did it then, it was necessary for you to do it then so that you can be where you are today. So I need you to always remember this every time when you have to deal with the regrets, or beating yourself up about why did I spend so many years, why did I cry so many years. At that time when you were crying, you really felt like, you know what, this is what is needed for my things to be okay. If you knew that crying then was not going to help you, you would not have done it. And you don't have to beat yourself up about that, and you don't even have to apologize. Like I said with the previous caller, that the one thing that I love about us, this generation, and these lives that we do on a daily, is that our kids never have to suffer the things that we suffered from, Yes, not as perseverance, it comes with a lot of tongue legs, because I always get accused of a lot of things. Hey, you want people to divorce like you. Hey, you are a bad influence. But I know deep down in my heart that the reason why I opened these platforms for us to speak about these things is so that our kids never have to suffer the same things that we suffered. Because if you are saying right now that signs were there, but I ignore them. But imagine if there was a life like this that you were aware of during that time. You would not have done it. You would not have gone through it. But it was not there. But to God be the glory, because your kids never have to suffer the same thing that you suffered. And the more we speak about this, the more we make it easy for those that are coming behind us to not have to suffer the same things that we suffered. And that is one thing that is worth celebrating, at least.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, honey.
Yeah, I was scared of going live, but I was like, you know what, I've got nothing to lose. And I always watch your lives, so I thought I should just take the leap of faith. And thank you for the comments, guys. I really appreciate it. And I see that I'm not the only one who's going through this. There's so many of us who are going through this. And it's people like you that keep us going, people like you that motivate us and make us better mothers, and make us push ourselves to be better selves more than anything. Because if I'm not okay, then I can never be okay for my kids. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Love and light to you, my honey. Mamija is going to be our last person. We're not going to be taking any more people. I see the requests are coming through, but we have like 7 minutes left. So Mamija is going to be our last person to speak. And then after that, we will be wrapping up. Hi, Mamija.
Hi, I just spoke to you earlier, but I have a question.
Yes, my love.
Before you leave, do you think like family is it a good reason enough to leave the relationship?
I don't know if you were here earlier on when somebody commented and said that their sister passed away because of depression, because of the same thing that we are talking about today. To say that when you have been pushed and you've been made to feel like you are nothing, and you've been a doormat for the entire family that you are married into. I remember even sometime last year where I was speaking to a lady who was crying over the phone because she left her home in KZN to move to Limpopo, only to be treated like trash because the family that she was married into liked the previous Makoti that was there. She used to cry every day. The husband could not defend her because boom, Bumma, you know, because Bumma comes first, because my sisters come first, so much that she ended up being depressed. And somebody said earlier on in the comment section that their sister passed away because of the depression that came with this thing, you know, the stress that comes with you being in a family where your husband puts you very last and you are everybody's doormat. So I'm not saying that for every single person, when you see these things, you should leave, because you know the strength and capacity that God has given us is different. And I, for one, am never, I promise you, you can check all my videos and all my lives and everything that I've ever done. You will never see a video where I tell you what to do with your life. I will never ever say to you, because this is what you are facing, pack your bags and go. The best that I can do for you is to tell you what I think about your situation. But the actual decision of what you need to do about that, it is entirely up to you, my love.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining in. I would just like to appreciate my brother here, the Gentle Giant, who was here last live session dropping gems. Unfortunately, today he has joined in very late. We are wrapping up our live session for today. And I want to say thank you so much to every single person who contributed towards the conversation of today and sharing their own experiences. And for those who missed some parts of the life, you're more than welcome to hop over to YouTube to watch the whole of it from beginning until the end. And yeah, man, I hope that we, you know, we become a better generation. We become better parents for our kids, and we make sure that our kids never have to suffer the same things that we have suffered. And also do the work upon ourselves, you know, do the work, create a safe space, break these chains. I know that this incest, you know, syndrome, some say it's spiritual, some say it's physical. If it takes you having to pray about it, pray about it. If it takes you having to go to therapy about it, go to therapy about it. If it takes you having to distance yourself from people who are actually causing you this thing and making you suffer because of this emotional incest syndrome, then do whatever it takes to make sure that you protect yourself and yours. Okay, with that being said, thank you so much. I love you so much. I'll see you on the next live session or the next upload. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for joining in.